Let's return to the extreme weather. More than 1 million households in the UK will be facing higher bills for gas and electricity after E.ON put up prices. And what is the coldest day in spring? It's expected to be the first of a series of price increases from energy providers. Well, I'm joined now by the energy economist, Mika Minio-Paluello. Mika, lovely to see you. There have been a number of warnings issued about the availability of natural gas. How critical is the situation in terms of the provision of energy at the moment?
We're past the critical phase, so we're not actually going to have gas cuts. We're not going to, the gas crunch is no longer at that extreme point. However, on an ongoing basis, there's still a shortage, partly because of, as you said, the extreme weather, which ironically obviously is caused ultimately by climate change, by us burning the gas. Also by other factors like in the Netherlands, Shell's drilling for gas is called earthquakes, which has led to a cut in how much gas is extracted. So because of that, there's there's less gas in the market, which is pushing up the wholesale prices. So there is a long-term impact on prices.
Yeah, the strange thing is, though, I remember a time when there wasn't a shortage of gas, when prices were pretty low. I mean, presumably, at that point, the big six were passing on the savings to us.
If only. No. When the prices are low, then they pocket the difference in higher profits. When the prices go up, then they pass them on to us.
Yeah, it never works out for us. So just in terms of us moving forward, we are likely to see freak weather events like this again in the future. We are likely to see the big six, we're likely to see the big six playing around with prices again. I mean, how dependent are those companies on the natural gas coming from the east?
They are dependent, and actually, as a country, we're too dependent on gas. We shouldn't be relying so much on the one fuel. We should be diversifying. We should be investing into alternative methods, whether it's electrification, local district heating. And also, we need to reform the way our energy system works. We should ask ourselves, maybe heat is a human right. Maybe in countries like Denmark, the heat systems are run by not-for-profit, by co-ops, by local councils. And maybe then we won't get ripped off.
Well, Mika, you would know this more than anyone else. I mean, are we there yet with renewable sources of energy? I mean, the argument that was often made against them is that to develop the infrastructure, to put the turbines in place, for example, the technology just wasn't efficient enough or cheap enough.
We are there. So, in fact, earlier this week, the thing that kept us going was the fact that the wind was blowing hard and we had a lot of offshore wind turbines that were generating electricity. The critical factor is the investment isn't quite happening. And ultimately, the companies that are focused on short-term profit, they don't have an interest in building all the renewables that we will need in the long run. So we kind of need government to step in and make more of that deployment of renewables happen.
Another way that the government could step in, and a couple of parties have proposed it now, I mean, putting caps on energy prices. I mean, is that an efficient way of dealing with the problem, though?
It's a short-term solution. So for people who are struggling with freezing temperatures, who can't pay their bills, it will help in the short term. But it doesn't deal with the fundamental long-term issues that we're facing, a lack of investment from the companies that are actually still making a lot of money.
Mika Minio-Paluello, stay warm, and many thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Appropriate time to check the weather.